see if I can find. Okay. Well, here's what I'm going to mute. Okay, I'm muting. There we go. I'm muting Leo because I'm getting these weird sounds coming from you. I think you must have a helium tank over there somewhere. All right, let's go ahead and we'll get started. I'm recording this, and so we'll provide. Yeah, I know. Yeah. All right. So, agenda. We've been having a number of different meetings over the past week or two. Tim has been working with Terry at, I keep thinking Kardashian, but it's Cohesion, and basically getting this database up and going. And we now have entered in all of the, I think the steering committee members should now have accounts. And we're also working at entering in additional people on campuses that could be part of the review processes. And so that process has started. The thing that we did find out is that we can only have 50 active users in the database at one time to keep it in that nonprofit status. The nonprofit status would then go up if we added more active users. We can add a ton of people in. I mean, we can add 500 users, but we can only have 50 active users at a time. And so that's something that we'll have to coordinate. I don't think right now that's going to be an issue. But you should have received some information from Tim that talked about how to access the database, and we'll be doing some additional training coming up on that. I'm hoping you're seeing this on my screen. I've got a lot of documents that I've opened up, so I'm hoping you're seeing that in a screen share process. The document over here on my left is basically showing, the timeline that we started with, the Cohesion stuff that we started bringing in. We did that. We actually had the overview session yesterday. We recorded that session, and so I sent that recording out. The goal is that basically, just like we would have had in the Quality Matters environment, each peer reviewer would be able to log in and basically do a ranking or an approval number, and then also enter in comments. I think the comments probably is one of the more powerful things of this peer review process, and so we'll continue to talk about how that works. We'll do some more sessions on the actual, using of the system. I'm looking at down here on, let's see, the 10th. We're going to start looking at some additional workshops. Tim is out right now, but we'll look to hear more from him on how to do some of these additional workshops on using the system. The other thing that Tim and I talked about, and I think the rest that were there, we weren't really comfortable with the OLC training that we received. It was a one-week training, and I think it lacked in a number of areas. I think that our feeling was that we could do a lot better. And so I think that's the plan, is that we'll try to develop our own peer review training that talks about, how to use the system and also how to do some of the peer review processes. I think we have a lot of existing peer review trainers that have done the QM. It's just kind of how do we make that adaptation to the current KCREACHE database that we have. Okay. On the 20th, which is coming up in a couple of weeks, we're going to start our first of monthly faculty fests, showcasing online courses taught at different institutions. I guess Tim put my name down on first, and so on the 20th, I'll be inviting one of our online faculty, Megan Noel, to talk to us, and then basically walking through her course. And the goal is that each month, each of our institutions will be showcasing one of their courses that we can do that. And then it looks like the course review training beginning on the 24th. Okay. Any questions so far?
I have a quick comment. Can we maybe put together something so that when we ask faculty to do it, they have an idea of what is expected? Like a short agenda.
Yeah.
Or, something like that.
Absolutely, Susan. That's a good. I sent out sort of a series of questions to Megan that I'll share with the group. I'm afraid if I start clicking on things right now, I'm going to lose everything on my desktop. But I will take the questions that I sent to Megan out to this group so you can see. A lot of it had to do with welcome message. How do you welcome your students into the class? How do you introduce yourself? What's your syllabus look like? How do you deal with cheating? How do you deal with some other issues in the class? How do you provide feedback? And then I also asked them to maybe talk about something, or Megan to talk about something that she's really excited about to share as well. So Susan, absolutely, I'll send the questions that I put together. Doesn't mean that that's a perfect list, and that maybe as a group, maybe we should come up with a better list of things to talk about. Nick, I see you're online right now.
Yes, I'm here. How are you guys?
I'm doing well, thank you. Just did a voice check to make sure you're there okay.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Nick, did you go through the training, the OLC training a week or two ago, and what was your thoughts about it?
Yes, I went through the training. I didn't really feel like, compared to QM, they really went in depth as much as I thought that they would. 2 discussion forums, and that's it. It's not necessarily what I was really looking for as far as the course. Those are just my thoughts.
And I think the rest of us kind of agreed with that, in that, they talked about a lot of instruments that could be used. And that is one of the strengths of the OLC approach, is that they're not dictating to you what you use, but yet it's not as, I think we were looking for more. And that's one of the reasons why yesterday we discussed doing our own maybe half-day peer review type of training that would kind of familiarize ourselves more with the database and talk about the peer review process.
I agree.
On the right-hand side over here on my screen, I see the review process. What we're looking at there is that we would ask for payment, or at least starting the payment process prior to the whole thing starting. So we would need a commitment from the institution that starts the process of getting the invoice at the very beginning. I think in the past, sometimes we would do a process and then the invoice would come at the very end. We're trying to get this at the beginning so that we can get that payment started. The QA director, which would be Tim, would be going into the system and setting up the course information. He would then be working to get other representatives for the courses and putting those in, going through the handbook of information, all the recommendations and stuff like that. So a lot of this in a paid review. Now I'm talking about a paid review. A lot of that responsibility goes back to Tim. Tim setting this thing up, doing everything that goes along with that. Obviously, the invoice for the payment, that goes through Colleen to make that happen. But a lot of these formal paid reviews, Tim will be pretty much involved in setting those up. There are informal reviews. I think that those do not cost money. We would be looking to individual campus representatives to sort of work with Tim in getting those started. And then that would kind of be turned over, I'm thinking, to the individual campus representatives to set up their team and to go through that. That doesn't cost anything. That would be the non-paid one. Questions over that? Okay, I guess silence is mean there's no questions about that. Okay, Leo has thumbs up. And Tim has been sending a lot of stuff out. What we'll try to do is I think in some training coming up, we'll try to pull all this together and try to answer questions that maybe your representatives on your campuses might have with that. All right. So potential members. One of the things that I'll take blame for is basically until we had this database up and going, I really think it's a great showcase. It's something that we, as we talk to the potential members, we can show them this database, we can show them the website. We already have, I talked to Meg, or I emailed Meg yesterday from Butler. They're committed to the affiliate level membership, 2,500. She said that they are bringing in a new director of their institution and for distance learning, and so they will not be really up and engaged until January. And so she said, yes, Butler's interested in part of that for the affiliate membership. So we can probably, I'll work with her on Gary. You know, I don't know how we do these invoices or anything like that. There may be some other conversations on some other things. And you're muted right now, Gary, if you wanted to respond with anything. Another email that actually came in yesterday was from Kansas State. They've been kind of flirting with us a little bit on wanting to know more about this. I really think now with the database that's in place, with the website that we have, Tim and I think Gary also got an email or a call. We're ready to kind of formally go out and start talking to them about the KC-REACHE consortium. I think Kansas State would probably be, I'm just guessing, I think they'd be interested in a full membership. I think that they're trying to do a lot of marketing here in the Kansas City area. You know, unlike what you might see with Butler. Butler really has their own market around the Wichita area. I think K-State, Mid-America, and St. Mary all are schools that I think we could get them into a full membership. But I'll take the blame. I've been waiting until we get this database and some of the other procedures in place so that I think we can go out and talk to them and show them a larger package that I think they would be very interested in being part of. Any questions about that? Don't be shy. Okay. What I anticipate, you know, two of these schools, Mid-America and St. Mary, are right here in the metro area. I actually volunteered to go out and meet with them personally in a face-to-face meeting, and I could, my son goes to K-State, for that would be just an excuse for me to go out to Manhattan if I needed to. But I think sometimes these face-to-face meetings help demo and you know, hopefully can influence people to become a member of the institutions and stuff. The other thing that I kind of wanted to throw out there is these Faculty Fest monthly meetings that we're doing. I'm really toying with the idea, strongly toying with the idea of actually opening this up to the C2C listserv and inviting them to be part of this you know, showcase and doing marketing, you know, at the same time. You know, this event is sponsored by KC-REACHE, and if you want no more information about KC-REACHE, please contact, you know, Tim, Ed, Gary, but sort of using that monthly Faculty Fest as an opportunity for people to see a good course, but also in a marketing ploy for KC-REACHE at the same time. What do you think? Anyone? Susan, can you hear me on that?
Oh, yes, I was actually talking. I think it might be. I think it would encourage some folks to maybe join. I mean, if we're only showcasing the KC-REACHE ones and they want their showcase too, well, then it might be you know, another idea for why they might join, as well as if they can use the rubric and pay a little extra. It might encourage them to keep that in their sorry, trying to drive at the same time.
I know one of the thoughts was that this particular Faculty Fest was only going to be shared with KC-REACHE members. Okay, and we can certainly do that. But I thought maybe we could open it up to the larger audience. I could send a message out to the C2C list and say, here's a KC Reach sponsored event. We will be talking with, Megan Noel, blah, 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 like that, and maybe put some marketing as part of that. I think we really we're a C2C sponsor for Sidelight. So, this is just an opportunity for us to do some more marketing and get the word out and see if we can pull in some more members for the consortium. So, Kathy, I see you're out there. Leo, I don't know if I can listen to your voice, but do you have any thoughts on that? And we have a chat window, too, if anybody wants to use the chat window.
What if we just tried the first one and we say we're going to do one a semester that's open for public?
Okay, we can do that. I mean, I might really do some marketing and see if we get any, hits, and see if anybody even wants to talk to us. Because I guess I'm the leader, I guess I'll just go ahead and make that decision. I'll go ahead and do that, and we'll see what happens. Which kind of leads me into this next item, which is the budget. When we made the decision to disconnect from Quality Matters, we had basically all the affiliates. That was the only reason they were being members of that. We also had Wichita decided that they would no longer want to be a member. So a budget that we built, was looking at those additional members. And as Gary has reminded me, that we only have $40,000 to cover a $54,000 budget. So, we have to come up with some creative ways to look at some stuff. I'm going to scroll down here, and hopefully you can see some of this. I'm still looking for, there was another slide somewhere that I must have missed, but this was a slide that was showing some of the preliminary conversations with the dues at $5,500. That below actually was a proposal to reduce those. Now, Gary, is that proposal, with the exception of the dues, is that pretty accurate on some stuff that we had? We can't hear you. I think I muted you. I'll unmute you because I can do that. There we go. Now you can talk.
I think I need to get another slide because we were talking 8 members at 5,000. So this is probably not right.
Okay.
I'll try to get that to you.
Because I might not have been included in some of the other slide updates because I think that you and Laurel or somebody was working on some stuff.
Right.
But the bottom line is that we're short. And so we need to start thinking about, what does that mean? If we bring in some of these members, let's say halfway into the year, some of them have already asked about prorating of their membership. And it's $5,000, $550, $500. What is that going to be? Do we renew them all at the same time, or do we bring them in and say, okay, it's $5,000? I don't know. That's some questions I have about this.
Am I unmuted?
No, you're live.
Okay. I did speak with Ted about this because Ed and I have been talking back and forth, and he kind of wants to keep members going. So we're willing to prorate if we could, because if you take 5,000 divided by 12, it's about $416 a month. So if we kind of round that off, if they would join now in October, that would be $3,750, which with Butler on board, we'd have $13,750. So we would be pretty close to what we were budgeted originally. As the year goes on, I don't know. We talked about it, and I said, Ted, the thing is, no money is not good. So if we can get some people in here, but Ed, do you think if we presented that to them and talked about October being the starting point from October to June, if that at $37.50, would that be, and we'd also bill them like we've done before, like 2 or 3 payments. It wouldn't have to come up with it all at once.
I think that is that's a concession on our part to say, we know you're not getting the full year's worth, but we are basically giving you a reduced price because we are into the year. I think that would be a very good selling point, Gary.
I do too. Plus, we give them I'd try to work to get them on, well, they'd be on the database. That wouldn't be a problem. I'd try to get them to be on our spot as well. That should be part of it too.
Sure. So a lot of these things have been sort of waiting for this database because I think that's a big sell for us. And so I think now that we've got that in place, I will go ahead and start working with K-State aggressively and St. Mary's and Mid-America. We'll see if we can pick up any more people through maybe this, broadcast that we're doing. I'm going to want to maybe put some marketing on the front end of these broadcasts and just say, part of that.
That's a good idea.
Now, I might not put the price in there, Gary. I might just say contact, for membership options and pricing, please contact the following. I don't know that I'll put that in that marketing on the web, but we might start with that.
You can start with 5 and then work with it depending on how interested they are.
Sure, absolutely. The other thing, go ahead, Susan.
Oh, I was just going to say, I don't know if I'm jumping ahead of you, but, another way I think we could generate some.
I think we lost you. Must have been
at a price. So let's say it's $200 more per review for non-members. Then it needs to be enough that it needs to be enough that it's an encouragement to join, but not so much that it's prohibitive. So a couple $100 extra for non-members seems like that could get us at least a little farther out of that hole.
Yeah, Tim had actually talked about, the review process. We could charge $700 for non-members. I'm looking over here on the right side of my screen. I'm hoping you're seeing that. A member review, a formal member review is $500. And according to what I see down here, $150 to the chair and $200 to each of the other members. That still adds up to what? That's not $500. Would we be making $150 profit off of that? That goes back into the KCREACHE fund?
Pay for the director.
Well, maybe that helps offset the cost of the director. I don't think Tim is going to get additional money. We're currently paying him $1,000 a month. So I don't think Tim is going to expect another, I'm sure he wouldn't throw it out the door, but, in my mind, we're already paying $1,000 a month. And so this is basically money that goes back into the KCREACHE fund. And when he watches this video, I'll probably hear about it, but that's the way I'm thinking. But for a non-KCREACHE member, we get even more money, for that. You'd be adding another $200 onto the top of that $150 profit. Is that what you were thinking, Susan?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I guess I missed that from yesterday. So yeah, that'd be I just think that would be, it incentivize people to join because they get the $200 cut in the price of their reviews.
Sure. And I know that we traditionally at Johnson County haven't done the formal reviews, but I'm going to go ahead and push for a couple of courses this year just to kind of get us using this system and getting used to using it. I think that because it's not dictating to me as much as what Quality Matters was doing, I think I'm getting support from our team administration to do that. Just kind of going around, are there other people that are wanting to do some of these official reviews? Susan, do you know on your end?
Well, we could. I mean, we sort of have a whole new ball game going on. There's been a lot of shuffling at KCK, and so I need to get there's a new Center for Teaching Excellence or whatever they're calling it, and a faculty member is leading that. So I need to get her on board. But I know she wasn't a fan of the quality matters. So I think I can probably talk some faculty into it. But we've lost a lot of those faculty who are really gung-ho in the beginning. They've either retired or left and gone on to other institutions. But it's going to be a little bit of work for me. I don't know about anybody else, but I think I can get a handful anyway this year.
Leo, in the chat, do you think you might have anybody or some courses to run through? Okay. Kathy, what about you guys? And then I see Darla down there.
Could you read off the chat, please? Because I can't.
Okay.
I'm driving. Thank you.
All right. It says, Leo says, I think answering to Tim's questions, he's expensive, very expensive. I hope this will chat. Kathy is saying, in response to the question, very likely I do, yes. Okay, so I take that to mean that Kathy will probably have some courses to go through some formal review processes. Darla, do you think that maybe you would have anybody going through the formal process or not?
To do a QM official review? Probably so.
Okay, not a QM review, but in our KCREACHE review.
KCREACHE review? I'm not sure yet.
Okay, okay. And I see another telephone number down there. I'm not sure who that might be logged in right now. But what I want to do, at least at Johnson County, is I want to get a course started through the process. We need to work out the kinks on this thing. And so I'm willing to take maybe 1 or 2 courses and run them through the process to get the kinks worked out and see what that looks like. Any thoughts about that? Okay, I guess that must be a brilliant idea. So we'll just keep working. What I'll ask Tim to do is I'm going to ask Tim to kind of reach out to each of our membership institutions. He's already asked for the representatives. He's also asking for who would be peer reviewers. I also am going to ask him to maybe get a feel for how many formal reviews we might be expecting from each of the institutions over the next year. I think at Johnson County, I can probably get one started right away, and then maybe we can do another one in the spring or something like that. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. The other question is the OLC review, the big review of the entire institution. We also have an agreement with the OLC consortium to do a cheaper institutional review. I'm interested in it, but I don't think I'm ready to do that right now. I'll let you all know that I'm going to attend the OLC consortium or the OLC conference in November down in Orlando if they don't get a hurricane again. And I'm going to do one of their pre-conference workshops on peer review. And so in theory, what I've been told is that that might allow me to be a peer reviewer for other institutional OLC things. So I'll talk to Jennifer Mathis, who's going to be doing the session, and find out more about that. So Deanna, you're going there too. So excellent. A lot of people will be there. So the session that I'm going to is on Wednesday morning. I think it's a pre-conference workshop on the peer review process. It's the larger review of the entire institution. I think the cost is around $200, $250, so I decided to go ahead and do that. So maybe we should get together when we're down there. Sounds great. All right. Questions? Anything so far? All right. Well, let me do this. Let me go ahead and, Gary, are you comfortable with this, that we just kind of hit some marketing hard now. For those that are interested in some of that prorating, we could offer that prorating amount. We could ask.
I think so.
Okay. Let's
Within reason. Within reason.
You know, we'll work on that.
I'm trying to locate that last.
Yeah, go ahead and send that to me, that slide that might show an up-to-date budget thing that we have. But Tim's been doing a lot of work, and I have basically approved his monthly paychecks so that he is getting compensated for that. But I think that if we can pick up some more memberships, I think that will help offset a lot of that. All right. Agenda items. We have not done a up-campus updates for a long time. And why don't I just go ahead and spend a few minutes going around the room. Susan, are you at a point where you can talk and say anything going on at KCK?
Well, I'm now on I-35, so I don't have as much traffic, but can I talk about what's going on at KCKCC? I don't know. So we've just had a lot of changes, a lot of movement, a lot of people have left, and we have a lot of vacancies. We don't have anyone in IR right now, any director of IR or institutional services. We have an interim provost, interim VPAA. They are looking for a dean of enrollment, I believe. There's just a lot of movement, and things seem to be in motion, and I don't really know the plan. I wish I could say I did, but we're not being told much. So, but in terms of what we're doing, so we've started the process of moving our Blackboard analytics back to campus. So I have meetings on that. I don't anticipate that to be too big of an ordeal. I'm crossing my fingers and hoping they can do that. And then as soon as we get that done, we'll be talking about moving Blackboard LMS back, because that decision was made above my head. So that's my next big project. We are still working on assessment and rolling that out. And they are in the process of hiring someone from the Center for Teaching Excellence, or Excellence Teaching, whatever they're calling it, to enter that information into Blackboard. And then with any luck, instructors will start using it. We're trying to encourage faculty to at least use the gradebook, and that will allow us to tie those outcomes to the gradebook. Even if all they're doing is entering numbers, it'll still allow you to tie the column to that, align that column. We're also still working on a few other projects around campus. I wish I had some notes in front of me, but that's really about it. I am still looking for an additional support person, because they've created a learning commons in the library, and I need to staff someone in there once it's finished. They're still in the process of building it. And there's a lot of construction going on campus, and just renovation construction. And that's one of them, is the library. And I need to staff someone over there, so I'm still looking. That's about it for me.
Well, Susan, if you could have watched the video, you would have seen me shaking my head when you said you're coming back to campus with your LMS.
Everybody's shaking their head. Everybody. But like I said, it was a decision that I had no control over. I fought, and I have to be on board with it now. So I'm just starting the whole, just sort of starting my first start, so that I can start the process of timelining this out, because this is not going to be.
All right, well, let's keep moving on down. Darla, you're next on my list. What's going on at your institution?
We just finished, this fall we're totally on board with the Canvas learning management system. We were only half and half over the summer. We were half in the e-college and half in Canvas. This fall, we're totally on Canvas, and that actually has gone quite well. I was so worried about doing that, but it turned out to be good in the end. We were working with, I know I sent you guys a note, I was asking about web conferencing. We're kind of working with Zoom and Skype for Business, trying to kind of figure out how that's going to fit into and which one faculty are going to want to utilize. But they seem to be leaning a lot towards Zoom. But they're still kind of trying to use that, what used to be for us, what we called an ITV model, where they were distributing it out to different locations. And I don't know, that just trying to figure out how to make that work better is something that we're sort of working on. The other thing is that and I might kind of ask for information about, we're looking at online proctoring software. We've had some web demos on some of those, but I just didn't know how everybody is dealing with that, or if you're using somebody that you think's really good. That's about where we're at right now.
Well, since nobody's saying anything, I'll offer you an opinion on Skype for Business. Blech! I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I can never get it to work. Never. It doesn't work for me. No matter what computer I'm using or phone, I can't get it to work.
Yeah.
So that's my problem with it. Zoom does have a Zoom room, I think, for your ITV kind of stuff. So it does give you that sort of one-stop shop. So.
Okay. Is anybody using a CRM, a customer relations manager software? Like we just started with Starfish. Is anybody using any of those tools?
We looked at Starfish, but I think it went through some ownership changes or something, I thought.
Yeah, I think it's Hobson's.
Well, here's the other thing on that Zoom. We're using Zoom quite a bit. Actually, we're using Zoom right now, and we've been very pleased with it. We also have public speaking classes now that are starting to use Zoom as well. So, that's been a very good thing for us here at the college. Let me read what Leo says. Leo says, not much since last meeting, just started a Zoom room pilot, so they're using that. Also, we're preparing to pilot Smart Proctor. So, Deanna, that might be something that can provide some insight on. The biggest thing that we are in the middle of, interviewing for a new director of the CTL, which would supervise, that's Kathy. Kathy is saying that they're doing a new director for the CTL, which would supervise my group, impact our online program, not sure how much other. So that's what Kathy's saying. Laurel, are you online now? And Leo also says that they're implementing Starfish there, correct? If I can talk. Some of these things might be worth having a demo sometime as well, that we could kind of just do a show and tell and kind of just talk about that. I think that would be another great addition to some of our meetings as well. All right, I'm looking to see, does anybody else want to say anything? Because I'll just drop our big bombshell is that we are now building an RFP for a new LMS.
Oh.
So, yeah, Leo, it hurts, but it's not necessarily. It is our expiration of our current contract that's forcing us into that. When we are now 3.5 years into a 5-year contract, our procurement purchasing department says we have to go back out for an RFP for a new contract. And, we've asked about, well, what if we really like it? And they said, well, if you really like it, then you're going to stay with it. So we're building an RFP right now. I won't say that our relationship with D2L has been rosy. There's some other things that we would like to move to the cloud environment, and our purchasing department has also said if you're going to move from a hosted solution to the cloud, you also need to do an RFP for that as well. So right now I'm in the process of building, dusting off, I should say, the old RFP. And there's people that are extremely happy about that opportunity to look at a different LMS. And there's some people that are not very happy. So we'll see what's going on. That's the biggest news that we have going on right now. Other things on our campus, we're basically also digging into the OLC scorecard to check and see what that might look like, for the institution-wide. We're trying to get up our light board. I don't know if you guys remember what a light board is, but we do have a light board that we're hoping to get up and going in the next week or so. And we've also got a co-lab on campus that is opening its doors this week. So maybe I can get people to come out and we can do a tour of some of the things that are going on here at the college. I'll buy lunch. Maybe we can set that up going into the future. All right. So any other comments or questions for the good of the order? Okay. Well, I did record this session, and so I'll also see if I can export out the chat window that we have and include that in any of the notes and stuff that we have. We're going to be hitting the database really hard over the next few weeks and getting that up and going. So if there isn't any other questions, I'll let you guys get to lunch today.
All right.
All right. Have a great day.
Bye, everybody.
Okay.